Hey guys, King of Charmanders here, and today I bring to you the Jyuratodus Monster Guide, all attacks, tips, and tricks. And we're gonna first start out with the Monster Guide entry. The Jyuratodus, its species, it's a piscine wyvern. It means regarding a fish, so yeah. It's found in swamp biomes, and its elemental weakness is thunder. Meanwhile, its elemental attack is water. And its breakable parts are the head, body, left hind leg, right hind leg, and its tail. And Jyuratodus' main characteristics. The mud that it spits out will slow your body movement. And it's useful information. It uses hardened mud as armor that lessens the damage from attacks. The mud can be scrubbed away using water weapons, and breaking its body parts will keep it above ground. And as mentioned by its breakable parts, the head is the weak point, so going after its head will be its weak point, and the one you want to target for the majority of the battle.
Something's coming! A lot of somethings are coming!
Thankfully, we really can't be attacked by more than one Jyuratodus, so it would really suck otherwise. But you know what? Some goddesses must die because there's really that dumb. But what is not dumb is the Jyuratodus. And we're going to start off with its underground attacks, the charging bite. Jyuratodus will charge at you and try to bite you. And its signal, Jyuratodus will raise its head above the ground and open its mouth. Here you go. As you see, it will raise its head above ground and then try to open its mouth before it charges at you. So you can dodge this by dodging left or right. What's better than one bite attack? Two bite attacks. Now for number 2 of Jyuratodus' underground attacks, we have the lunging bite. Jyuratodus will lunge at you and try to bite you. And for its signal, Jyuratodus will raise its head above ground, sideways. So you see, it raises its head above ground and it kind of is a little sideways. You can dodge this by dodging left or right. And here's a note, this attack is hard to spot if you're up close, so in one example, I take the damage on purpose to give you a good angle of its signal. So it's a little hard to spot but if you're up close, but here's an example. 1, 2, 3. At number 3, we have Jyuratodus' underground attacks, the double tail swing. Jyuratodus will try to swing its tail twice at you. As you see right here, it has a pretty wide range, so it's going to sweep its tail at you like a broom. The wyvern's signature move, of course, swinging its tail. And its signal, Jyuratodus will look back at you and raise its tail. It's going to look directly at you and then it's going to raise its tail, as you see in this example. You can dodge this by dodging backwards, so dodge backwards to dodge these two attacks. And just like it was stated in the useful information, at number 4 we had the mud shot. So Jyuratodus will fire shots of mud at you from its mouth. And its signal, Jyuratodus will stand tall with its mouth closed before it fires its mud shot. As you see right here, it's standing tall with its mouth closed. You can dodge this by dodging left or right. Here's a note, touching the mud will slow your movement down like this example above. The mud isn't up that long though, so it won't affect you for a long time. So as you see, it's very brief. It slows you down, but it's very brief. And number 5 of Jyuratodus' underground attacks, we have the Free Willy. I called it the Free Willy because I had no idea what to call it, but also the dig attack. Jyuratodus will dig underground, crawl towards you, and try to hit you as it pops out of the ground. Very similar to Diablos' digging attack. Its signal, Jyuratodus will dive underground, crawl towards you, and pause before it pops out the ground. So it's going to dive underground, like in this example right here. It's going to crawl towards you and pause slightly before it pops out the ground. You can dodge this by dodging backwards multiple times. If you have Evade Extender, this will make it a little easier, but just dodge multiple times until it pops out. This is pretty obvious, but if you are too close, when Jyuratodus pops out, you will take damage, like in this example. If you're too close, you will take damage from this pop-out attack, this dig attack. So be very mindful of how close you are before Jyuratodus pops out of the ground, like this example above. It sucks a lot, it does a lot of damage, so be careful. And of course we have Transformers, more than meets the eye, but with Jyuratodus, it's a transition standing mode. And this happens when you break any of Jyuratodus' parts. It will flop around like a Magikarp and make it vulnerable for a few seconds. But after it's done flopping around, it will transition to an above water standing mode. So it's going to start standing on its 2 legs for a short while after you manage to break it and it's flopping around. So before it goes, it will eventually go back to being underground. So both take advantage of the fact that it's above water. But as you see here, it's going to flop around like a fish and then get on its 2 legs. And this is its transition to standing mode. It will officially become a Decepticon and try to take over the world on its 2 legs before it goes back underground and dives underground to take over the world once again. And the best thing about it in having a standing mode, it has standing attacks. My first one is the Frog Splash. Eddie Guerrero, rip Eddie Guerrero, but yes, if you're a pro wrestling fan, yes, it is the Frog Splash, otherwise known as a belly flop. Jyuratodus will jump towards you and try to crush you with its body. Here's its signal. Jyuratodus will look at you and open its mouth before it jumps on you. In this example right here, opens mouth, and it will, before it jumps on you, it will try to open its mouth. You can dodge this by dodging left or right. And here's a note, depending on the angle, you might have to dodge backward like one of the examples. Like in that perfect evade example I showed you, I was dodge left and I dodged backwards. Most of the time it's going to be like this. As you see right here, you could dodge just left or right. Right there. Left or right, and then you should be able to get out the way. But, again, if you're up close, sometimes it's really awkward, so just be careful and be mindful of where Jyuratodus is looking. And last but not least, for Jyuratodus' standing attacks number 2, we have the above ground double tail swing. Jyuratodus will swing its tail twice at you, and its signal, Jyuratodus will look at you and raise its tail before its tail swings at you, before it swings its tail at you twice. You can dodge this by dodging left or right as it swings its tail, or you could dodge it by rolling backwards, so it's really up to you how you want to approach it. Here's a note, just like the first one, it's the exact same motion as the number 1 while it's underground. So this is the exact double tail swing that Jyuratodus performs underground, just it's above ground this time around. Again, be wary of how you dodge it, because when you dodge left or right, you might not time it right, and you might still get hit by that tail swing. So just be very mindful and be a little careful. But in addition to this, like the note says, this is all the attacks I could really identify. There's only 2 attacks I could identify above ground, because that usually means you're close to killing Jyuratodus if you broke one of its parts to force it over the ground to begin with. And here are my Jyuratodus' tips and tricks. Breaking any body part usually means you're close to slaying Jyuratodus. So if you break any body part and you force it above ground, usually it's pretty close to dying. Because of the above reason, I wasn't able to get more standing mode attacks. I'm pretty sure there's more attacks in standing. Maybe there are more, maybe there are not. But because I get so close to killing it after forcing it above ground, couldn't really find too many details about whether or not Jyuratodus has more than 2 attacks above ground, the tail swing, and of course the belly flop. Jyuratodus will dive back underground eventually if you aren't able to slay it while it's on its legs. So if you don't able to take it out after breaking its body part and forcing it above ground, it will dive back underground. After testing useful information about water, I'm not sure water weapons wash away the mud. So I was testing out and I was just like, I'm not sure if this actually works. So I don't know, use that at your discretion, but here's a little bit of footage about it, and I'm not convinced that it washes away the mud and makes it more vulnerable. For melee users, standing at Jyuratodus' side is the best position while you target its head. And for bow users, only use rapid and spread. Pierce has a hard time versus Jyuratodus. Look out for my Jyuratodus weapons and armor guide coming soon. I plan on making a weapons and armor guide coming up in a bit. Once probably around either Saturday or Sunday, I'll have that video released. And please do me a huge favor. Please like, subscribe, and comment for YouTube algorithm. I had plenty of first aid meds to burn over here so I could test out Jyuratodus' attacks, etc. and its range. But, again, please do me a huge favor. Like, subscribe, and comment for YouTube algorithm. I'd really appreciate it. And hopefully this guide really does help you out, especially for the upcoming Jyuratodus event. So, again, please do me a huge favor. Please like, subscribe, and comment for YouTube algorithm. Hopefully this guide does help you out during the Jyuratodus event again. And I will see y'all on the next one.